Well, there was a little mistake in that video, just a little one. 38 countries now. So we are blessed beyond measure. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Sloan, host of the Mountain Mysteries podcast and The Gatherings, and I'll be joined in a few moments by my new co-host, Stacia Underwood Gullett of 606 Paranormal. And she's got some amazing things in store for us tonight. I want to take a moment and thank everyone who is a Patreon subscriber. You make it a lot easier to keep this going. Josh Preston, Bobby Fairchild, JD Maggard, Amanda Collins, Jennifer Mullins, and our newest VIP patron, Maddie Blankenship. Thank you so much. You know, there was a while, of course, that we'd stepped away, and now you're going to see the gatherings back every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. When I went through, and don't get me wrong, I don't have a monopoly on loss. That's not the case at all. As a matter of fact, everybody suffers loss. That's a part of living. It's a part of life. And it took me months to realize that. You know, we lost Ollie in October, lost Trevor in February. And a couple of years before that, I lost my parents back to back. Now, my parents, of course, were 30 days apart, but Ollie and Trevor, they were slightly. One, well, they passed for reasons that I don't wrap my head around. Because in the end, I don't look at the reasons, I look at the result, what happened. And that almost took me out. But through the course of a lot of friends and a lot of support and a lot of people saying, what you do matters and you're good at it. It's not that I care about being good at it. I want to be good enough to satisfy people that listen to the podcast and that watch the gatherings. But I want to be good enough for them, the people that we've lost, the Aprils, the Dwaynes, the Ollies, the Trevors. Because to me, this is not, it's not a burden. It's a calling. You see, God gave everybody gifts. Every single one of you watching right now has a gift. Some of you have gifts, plural. Mine is my inherent ability to run my big mouth. Well, I've got that. And maybe to reach out and touch somebody in a way and make them think about something differently, or maybe to bring a memory. Because it's my belief that as long as people are remembered, they're never really gone. People that support us either by Patreon or by watching these things and, more importantly, listening to the podcast itself. That is something I can't thank you enough for. It wasn't that long ago I was standing at a gas pump making life decisions, $5 a gallon gas. And I had somebody that I didn't know, and it seems like her name was Lindsay or Lisa or something. She introduced herself. And she said, I recognize you by the Facebook thing and the Mountain Mysteries or the mountain thing that you do. And I said, yeah, the Mountain Mysteries. She said, yeah. She said, I listened to it. She said, I got to tell you, I feel like I know April and I feel like I know Tim. Or she said Jim or Tim, or was that his name? And I said, yeah, it's Tim. And she said, well, I feel like I know these people. And she said, some of the stories you've done, or she said, I've never heard a podcast quite like this, and I've listened to them for years. Something in me that day snapped. Here was this person, and she was a bit younger than I am. I'm going to guess in her 30s, maybe. Coming up to some guy that she don't know. For all I know, for all she knew, I was an axe murderer who murdered axe murderers and raped rapists. But she came up to me and she approached me and she said, I just want to let you know. And a couple of days after that, a friend of mine who's a police officer sent me this, and I won't mention his name just strictly out of respect because I don't have his permission to. But he sent me this message on Facebook and he said, I just want you to know, man, these are getting me through my days. And he sent me a snap picture. And it was him, or it was his cruiser, because I could see the laptop there. And on the radio, it had said, The Mountain Mysteries, episode 30. And then later on, he sent me another one that was the Mountain Mysteries episode, I think it was like 38 or 40 or whatever. And then I was blessed enough to read a comment on Facebook that somebody who worked at Walmart said, this gets me through my work shift. That is when I put my left ear, or my left hand on my right ear and my right hand on my left ear, and I pulled really hard. And it was about then I knew I had my head out of my rear end when I heard that pop. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. You guys keep us going. So, with that being said, and the thank yous that are very sincere out of the way, I would like for those of you who have not met her before to introduce my co host. I've known her for years. We went to school together in grade school at Paintsville. We grew up, we kind of parted there for a while because I went one way and, she went another. But as fate would have it and God's miracles, and He does work miracles, would have it, we ran across each other's paths a while back. And I can't help but think that what is happening right now is something that was supposed to happen. So I'd like to introduce to you the co-host of the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings, Stacia Underwood Gullett of 606 Paranormal. How are you doing, dear?
I'm well. How about you?
I am doing great. If I got any better, there'd be two of me. So, and I don't think the world could handle two of me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that might make it a great place.
it would. Now, you've been investigating the paranormal. I mean, you've dealt with the paranormal since you were a small child.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Many years. Over
yes,
30 years now.
I know on the episode that's dropping tonight, or rather, yeah, I think it's dropping tonight. Wait, the Sinister SIX is dropping tonight. Afterlife is dropping next, and the one I'm working on now, yeah, the Afterlife episode, which airs on the 17th. You are a part of that, but a lot of people haven't heard that yet. Some of our Patreon folks have, but I'd like to explain what your first experience was when you were just a little girl.
Well, actually, we talked about it, and I was telling you about whenever we moved where we were in Eastern Kentucky. We didn't know it at the time, but our home was on an Indian burial ground. Actually, the whole area was on an Indian village, so to speak. Well, I don't really think anybody found that out. And the reason that I had found this out was because several years later, when I was still deciding whether to go full time with the paranormal or not, I had several people in the same area that I grew up contact me. And this is 25 years later. They were having the same exact problems that I witnessed as a child in the same area, just a couple houses away, actually, from where I grew up.
So the entire
But
region or that entire section of land was
yes,
a burial ground.
absolutely. And these people had no idea, as neither did we. And I witnessed, a full body apparition at 4 years old of an Indian chief. He was a little see through, but he wasn't scary. He was
Where did
very
you see him
peaceful.
at? Where did
He
you see him
appeared.
at?
He appeared in our closet, in our bedroom, 2 or 3 times a week. It was like clockwork. He
Where
would
did you
watch us.
what did you feel when you saw that?
Peace. I
Peace.
was never afraid of him. Never.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we
He
fast
never
forward
appeared
years later,
scary. Years later, people were starting to contact me about it. Same area.
and this was in
First
Paintsville.
person. Yep. Well, actually, it was just outside of Paintsville,
Okay. 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 As you
not
were
too
saying,
far
first
from the
person.
Loretta Lynn's home place.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you were saying, the first person to contact you?
The first family that contacted me were having, she said, probably for about 2 years, and that she had actually just taken all she could, and she didn't want to really talk to anybody about it because people would think she was crazy. But she was hearing Indian drumming coming through on the baby monitor. They were seeing shadow people going through the walls, and they had all this on film. They had everything to back it up. She was
So
100% telling the truth, and I believed her from the start because I'd been through that myself.
how did you handle that?
Well, I just I came out and told her the truth. I said, I'm going to tell you, I went through it. I grew up just behind you over there, and I said, we went through a lot of the same things that you're telling me now. So I handled it the best way I could. I offered her support. We tried to get things moving, but when something is stuck like that, and I don't want to sound negative, but when something is stuck, it's stuck for a reason. There's nothing that a human being can do to make something like that move on.
Well, I don't want to give away too much of it, but in the episode entitled Afterlife, which is, I think it's episode number 53. Anyways, we do address that.
Yeah.
We actually have a doctor that comes on and talks to us about, or rather, I should say, a nurse, a registered nurse, who comes on and talks to us about her experiences in 30 years of dealing with death in the afterlife. You can actually hear that episode, I think, right now on Patreon, if I'm not mistaken, if you want to become a Patreon subscriber. But we also talked to you, and we talked to another paranormal investigator that his name is John Marshall, and he worked with Floyd County Paranormal for a long, long time. And it's not just that we talk about whether or not we believe in the afterlife, but also if you're going to be a paranormal investigator, there should be some things that you need to be aware of, the dangers involved. And are there dangers? Yes. This is not a game. A lot of people go to the supermarket or to the super center and they pick up this little Milton Bradley game called the Mystical Oracle, Ouija. And they think, oh, this is going to be great. Popcorn, fun, beer, ghosts,
Yeah.
until the ghosts are real. Then all of a sudden, people quit laughing. Whoa, I didn't think that would happen. Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. The road to having fun and good intentions, it can be the road paved straight to hell. Because that's what a lot of these people, and you've seen this firsthand, Stacia. A
Yeah,
lot
I've
of these
had
people go through.
several people. Yep.
A lot of these people do go through that.
Yep.
So,
It's true.
and we talk about that in I believe it's episode 53, Afterlife.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk briefly about that episode. When you have a nurse come to you and talk to you, and this is a nurse, and she's also a published author, a fantastic human being. And she says, look, it's real. I don't know exactly what's going on, but even these doctors who are men and women of science, and science really doesn't typically make room because science is so rooted in fact. But when they come to you and they say, "Look, this is real. There's something happening." All these people at different times and different places are saying, "Well, I see," and some of them are the same things. They see perhaps it's a tunnel with a light at the end. I'm going to say something very personal here because this is not the first time I've seen this happen. It was, I'm going to guess, January 20th, which was the day before my mom died. I walked into the hospital to visit her. And she's sitting up in the bed and she's smiling and I'm thought, that's awesome. Mom's doing better. And I walked over and I took her hand and I kissed her hand. And she said, "Hi, baby." I said, "Hey, Mom, you feeling better today?" And she said, "Don't you see your grandma and your aunt there?" I wish I had a beeper right now because I want to say I froze because I knew what that meant.
Yeah, for sure.
I knew what was coming. Did I acknowledge it right then? No, I kind of put it in the back of my head
Yeah.
and thought, it was me not wanting to address it.
Right.
And then this doctor or this nurse is talking about one of the experiences that people who are near the point of passing away, they see loved ones who have gone on before us. Well, my mom had saw my grandma, her mom, and my aunt, her younger sister. And then, of course, Dad, who went a month later. I was out. I was going out there about every day to be with him, getting him a place ready at one of the places I manage, and had gone out a few days before and said, "Well, we've about got it ready, paint and yada yada yada, and all this other stuff." Because he didn't need to be out there at that house alone, and I was dead set against it. And he said, he said, "I swear I had the weirdest dream last night." And I said, "Dream?" I said, "Well, everybody has weird dreams. Dreams pass in time." I said, what dream?" He said, "But I thought I was awake." He said, "But I saw your mother." I said, "You what?" He said, "I saw your mother. She came to me and she said, just hang on." Well, again, I paid a, I didn't put much stock in it. And February 24th, I went out there and found him. And when I found him, his arm was outreached to where his mom used to sit. So that is something that we look for. Now, actually, I can sit here and choose to be sad about that, or that can give me hope. And I choose to let that give me hope because if he saw mom and if mom saw my grandma and my aunt, and if these other people that I've known have seen their loved ones, that tells you there's got to be something to this.
Yep.
Aside from the fact that I do believe in what the Bible says, that to be absent from the body is to be present with God. I do believe that. But this is just like smacking me right in the face. There it is. And I had the idea to do that episode because I know I'm not the only one. I know that there's people out there watching this right now or will be watching this that are missing their loved ones. And it's probably
Absolutely.
a level of hell that Dante couldn't even imagine. It goes beyond the seventh level of hell. It's a kind of pain that you just don't you don't ever get over this. You don't.
No.
And if I sit there and say, "Oh, it'll be better in time," no, it won't. You'll learn how to deal with it. You'll learn how to live with it a little better in time, but it
Yep.
doesn't get better. And there will be times, and Stacey, you've lost people. There'll be
Yep.
times that you may be grocery shopping and you see something that they liked
Yep.
and you just lose it. Right there in the middle of the store, it doesn't matter where you're at. Grief does not have a time frame for any individual. And the people that say, well, they just need to get over it, I'd say shut the hell up
That's right.
because grief is as different for the individual as the individuals are different from others. I may be able to take a loss and get over it and deal with it in a few months. It may take you a few years. Does that mean it's wrong? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean it's wrong. What it means is you're handling it your way. And in the end, that's the only way that you can handle it is to take a lesson from that. So that episode is coming up. I'll check here in a second while we're talking and get back to you on that. But that episode, I think, is going to be really extraordinary. Now, it is a little lengthy. It's a little over, I think it was like an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes, something like that. I don't know. But, and on target, usually the Mountain Mysteries podcasts run anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. And I do that for a reason, is because so I've found, and of course, this isn't the case with everybody, but most people have a drive time or a commute of around 30 to 40 minutes, give or take. Some's a little less, some's a little more, whatever. But I kind of shoot for that magic number there so you can listen to the entire episode while you're commuting if it's a new episode. And hopefully you'll take it into work with you. And if they allow such things, you'll listen to it while you're at work and let your friends listen to it too. And the reason I'd like to see that is because this way I get more of these Lisas or Lishas or whatever the lady's name was that come up to me and said, I feel like I know April Pennington. I feel like I knew. And she did mention the episode I did on Trevor Huff, which I completely and utterly lost it in that because people have to understand Trevor was my brother. He wasn't like my brother, he was my brother from another mom. But the things that we done together and the time we spent together was incredible. And he left me with nothing but wonderful memories. I look at his son and I see so much of Trevor in him. And his son, Alex, is phenomenal. He's a great guy. And Alex's mom, his whole family. And I had the opportunity just recently to meet with Trevor's parents for the first time in the 30 some years I knew him. I'd never met him. I fell in love with both of them. They took me in at the door. I'm trying not to get choked up at this. At the door, his mom met me and wrapped her arms around me. I hadn't felt that way since my mom did that.
Oh,
It, it's one of those things that rips your heart out, but by the same token, it builds you up. It makes you feel warm. And I didn't know that you could experience that at the same time, and I did. And I'll never forget what she told. It was a girl Trevor was dating at the time, Janine. And Janine had passed along the message. She said, well, she wants you to come over. She wants to meet you. And she's going to listen to this. If you listen to the episode, you'll get the joke. She said, she's going to make you pancakes, frozen pancakes, but pancakes. That's what Trevor had told me that night. I got way too drunk to drive right after my mom died, and he made sure that I wasn't driving. Effectively, he saved my life and probably God knows how many other lives. But that's just one of the times that he made a difference. Just one out of a million. So, but to say that getting to know them and meeting them was an honor, that doesn't even scratch the iceberg. But she mentioned him. She said, I feel like I know Trevor. She said, and I could feel your hurt. And I said, yeah. I said, we all go through that at some point or another in our lives. Everybody deals with that. And just like what just happened to me, all you got to do is think of one little thing, and it wants to just that grief and that pain and that hurt wants to come out. But we keep it in control because right now I got something I want to do. What I want to do is tell people that Trevor loved this podcast. He loved the gatherings. He actually appeared on it once. Ollie, Oliver Little. He was a Floyd County Sheriff's deputy, one of the finest men I've ever met in my life. He was a brother. He left way too soon. He loved this thing. When it first launched, he heard the first episode. He said, "There's no way that's you." Yeah, that's me. And he said, "Wow, to make a long story short, this is as much an honor to them. We dedicate the episodes to these three people now: to April Pennington, Trevor Huff, and Oliver Little. But they're really dedicated to every single person that we talk about on here. And it doesn't matter to me whether or not I knew them. It doesn't matter. But the episode Afterlife is coming up, and I really hope that you guys will check that out. It doesn't cost you anything to listen to it, and you can get it now on Audible, Amazon, Apple,
Apple.
Spotify. I know that the majority of people listen to it on Apple Podcasts,
Hmm.
according to the platform that we launch from, which is Anchor. The majority of people are listening to it on their iPhones and on Apple Podcasts. And you know what? If you don't care, please give us a good rating and write a small review. It can be a few words like "great," "I loved it," or whatever. But those things really go a long way to help us. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But now the episode that's releasing tonight, the Sinister Six. You and I talked about this before we got on.
Hmm.
Yeah, and basically, there's going to be more of episodes like these in which our research person, Amanda Collins, actually came up with this idea. And she said, well, how about this? And she messaged it to me and emailed it and all that. And I was like, oh, that'd be sick. That'd be pretty cool. So here's what the Sinister Six contains. These are stories on the boy in the box. Stacey, you've heard of that one.
Yep. Yep. Sadly.
Yeah, he was in the 50s. Um, Someone found a child malnourished in a box. Um,
Beaten to death.
yeah, yeah, skull cracked. Wait till you find out who is believed to have done it. Listen to it, you'll hear. Also, the Black Dahlia. That's probably definitely a case that's drawn a lot of interest all over the world. I think her name was Elizabeth.
Smart.
Was it Smart? Yeah.
Have
Uh,
you um have you heard the latest on that? They think that
no,
they have the killer as the person who did it.
do they really? I would assume they
The
would be dead
the
by now.
he was a dentist, I believe. Anyway, his son has came forth and has given all the information that it was his father and that he put her in the bathtub and did all that to her. And
I do think that I did hear that,
yeah,
and it's entirely possible.
yep,
There are sick, twisted people in the world,
yeah,
and she was a beautiful person. She
yes.
wanted to be a movie star. She wanted to be an actress, and she was in Los Angeles when this happened, or just outside of LA. But I don't think she wanted to be famous that way.
She reminded me a lot of April.
Yes, yes. I always said April reminded me of Snow White,
Mm-hmm.
the Disney princess. April was beautiful. Then
Yep.
we move on from the Black Dahlia to the Icebox Murders, Texas. a son allegedly killed both his parents and dismembered them and put them in an icebox. The Mystery of Room 1046. This is creepy with a factor 10. The guy's there, but he's not. Yeah. Yeah, you got to hear the way this one comes across. Then we have the Hall Miller murder case. Um, Basically, that has to do with a pastor having an extramarital affair with the wife of a janitor at the church, and they both wound up dead. They both got dead. But the way it happened is, yeah, you're kind of sitting there shaking your head, going, "What?" And then the last one to top it off, I'm sorry, is the mysterious murder of Charles Morgan and Green Eyes. Now, this just happened in the 70s. Charles Morgan was escrow person, an escrow broker, banker, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, he goes missing. His family don't see him for 3 days, and he comes back. That much the worse for wear. But then he goes missing again. This time he don't come back. They find him in a desert. Details again on the episode of the podcast, episode 53, the Sinister SIX. It actually drops tonight at midnight, so you'll have it in the morning on your way to work, whatever. I believe it is. So it is definitely something that's just like, wow, you got to be joking me. No, we're not. And then, of course, I want to bring up here in a few moments. Stacia is going to be doing some readings. And I think, can you get into the chat, Stacia, to see if anybody is there? Yeah, we've got several people
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, 1046. Yeah. We have several people in there that are going, yes. This is great. And I appreciate that. But this episode that's coming up, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. But Stacia is going to be doing, you have the portal,
Yep.
which
We've
is a
got it all hooked
communication
up and
device.
ready to go.
Would you explain what that is?
Yeah. What it is, it's ITC, it's spirit communication. And what these boxes do is they take tons and tons of gibberish. There are no words. And it's fed through like a gate. We call it a noise gate. And as it's fed through, the spirit can work with that and they can turn it into words. And then whenever you hear a word come out, then you'll know that that's a message. There are no words at all. And it's also on reverb, which is in reverse gibberish. So they can communicate, they can work with that, answer questions. It all depends on the connection. There's no guarantees. There never is. But we also, just like Chris and I have witnessed, we never know what's going to come through on these.
No, and at the same time, you need to be aware that this is not a game. Now, we do this for
Not.
an entertainment purpose. But if somebody comes on and says, well, I want to hear from a loved one, or I want to hear from whomever. Yes, Jessica Preston in the chat just asked, is that the same thing as a spirit box or different? It's
A
based
little
in the
different.
same principle, isn't it? But it is a little different.
Yeah, this is a little different. We've also got an ovulus coming in,
Yeah,
which has no
that's
background noise at all. It's just as clear as a bell also.
that is very much the king of communication
Yeah,
with spirit, isn't it?
absolutely. Can't wait
So
to get
people,
that in.
so people do need to be aware that while this is for entertainment purposes only,
Yes.
you need to know that there's a chance, there's a risk. Anytime you investigate the paranormal or you start doing something of that nature, I'm sorry, I'm having to do two things at once. You need to be aware that, like Ed Warren said, it's like bubble gum. You can pick it up and take it with you.
Right. You'll notice
So,
that the room I'm in also is a part of our haunted object room here in the office at 606 Paranormal. Everything here is blessed. Everything here is strictly taken care of on a daily basis. So when we do the spirit box sessions in here, the portal,
yes,
we are super careful and we're super cautious. That doesn't, necessarily always protect me. There can be something, and some people believe that some things can attach through, spirit boxes. through your TV set. Some people believe in, anything like that can attach.
Absolutely.
That's why we always have to warn it's for entertainment purposes only. So,
It is. Are they
absolutely.
real? Well, I'll tell you what, like most people, I was raised by my parents. I was very fortunate in that I know their voices. And I knew April Renee Pennington's voice because she had a certain thing we called, or that she called me. We all know it as Crease.
Yeah, yeah.
I have heard her voice address me in that box, and I've heard my mother come through the portal. And in the background, my dad, which, if you knew my mom and dad, then you would know, well, that's about right because he never could overpower her when it came to talking. So that was mom and dad. But I heard her.
Dynamite comes in small packages.
Yes, yeah, she was 4'10" and a freaking wildcat. She was just she was fantastic.
She's great.
So, anyways, if there is somebody there, uh, just simply shoot us a message on here, and maybe we can actually bring you into the chat. In order to be on the video with us, you actually have to have a working computer with a camera and a microphone. Now, it can be a built-in microphone. It doesn't have to be a Rode. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just your built-in microphone will work just fine. But just send us something right there in the chat, and we'll see if perhaps if you want to, or if not, simply send us a message on the Facebook or YouTube or whatever. I think this thing's picking up all the chats right now, and we'll be happy to ask any questions, and Stacia will do that. But while we do this, the episode that we're working on for June, I guess it's going to be, let me check the calendar, the 20, what is that, the 24th. It's called Episode 54, Till Death Do Us Part. Whew, man. This takes place in Australia, Aberdeen, Australia. A woman who is genuinely psychopathic and narcissistic kills her husband and then tries to feed him to his kids. Yeah. We actually were able to hear from the first police officer on the scene who 22 years later still has PTSD from that. And I think he's long since retired from the police force there.
We saw a picture of the food.
Oh,
It was pretty bad. The two
yeah.
plates that she'd made, we saw pictures of it.
Well, one cop told me, he said, and of course he's an Aussie. He's an Aussie. He's from Australia. He said, Mike, I didn't eat meat for 3 freaking weeks. And I
Uh,
said, I can imagine not. So, yeah, I mean, it's just mind bending and mind boggling the way that some people think or don't think, I guess I should say. But it is absolutely, I mean, listen, we've all heard of spouses turning on one another and committing an act of violence, committing a murder, whatever. But when it comes to something like this, I can't help but think this had to have started at a young age. And sure enough, when we got into doing the research, it did.
yep. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this psyche and this narcissistic behavior pattern and um, the psychotic episode started when she was young. She grew up in a very abusive home, which is a telltale sign. She grew up seeing things that nobody should see. She is constantly witness to her parents beating on each other. And when your kids see that, they just kind of have a tendency to think, well, it's normal. It's not, and it's not right.
No.
Violence is not condoned. I don't. No, I mean, no. It's. But anyways, you get where we're coming from on this. So it's one of these things that it's definitely going to be one heck of an episode, and we are nearly done in production right now. Then comes post production, etc. And the episode, though, should be available, and I'm going to say probably on the 18th, or at least that particular episode would be available on the 18th, if not before, and it doesn't drop until the 24th. So if you want to invest a little and support local podcast creation that hopefully is making a difference, then get on Patreon. And you can find that on our web page, which is the mountainmysteriespodcast.com. Just look up top there and you'll see the link for Patreon and you can join from there. But right now, Stacia, I have not seen anybody in the chat that is willing to jump on air with us, which is okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
If anybody
But you,
recognizes any voices, be sure to let us know
yes.
because this thing's
So
going crazy.
I'm thinking right now, I will be, with your permission and God's blessing and a prayer of protection, please, Lord, I will be somebody that we'll see if anybody wants to come through for me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ladies and
You
gentlemen,
ready?
this is what they call the portal. Yes, ma'am, I am. Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to come through again and ask if there's anybody out there that has a message for anybody with us to come through and talk to us, just like you've been doing for the past 2 hours. What's your name? Do you have a message for anybody? Do you have a name? Okay. If anybody has a message for anybody that's in our chat room or anybody listening, okay. Can you tell me your name? Are you there? Said I'm here. Can you give me your name or your message? This thing is going out of this world off the chart.
Never usually get, or as a rule, we don't get that kind of response to you.
Not that loud. Do you have something to say to Chris? Yes, something somewhere. Can you come back again and tell me what you said? My goodness. Let's just keep it on going. Could you back up, please, and let somebody else come through? Can you
So
back up?
this kind of activity out of it's not normal?
Not so much. Usually it's just a little bit and then. My son, something. Spirit. What's your son's name? Can you back up a little bit? Slow down for me. It's crazy. What's your name? Anne? There's two women, sounds like, coming through. Okay, we're going to back up for a minute.
Sure.
Okay, we're coming from a place of love and peace, and I'm going to ask anybody who wants to talk to us to come through. Please don't yell over each other. We can hear you. Okay.
Try not to talk over each other. so,
I mean, it's
so basically, what this operates on is it's gibberish. So when you hear words that are understandable come through, then you know you've got something
exactly,
or someone, I should say.
exactly.
That's the same device that I have heard April come through on, and I've heard my mom,
Yep.
and I've even heard my dad on it.
It's like a noise gate. Really, they feed all the gibberish into a noise gate, and then they get a hold of it, if you will, and work with it and give us what we want to hear or what they want to tell us.
We have a lot of people in the comments right now or in the chat rooms, and the ones that I can see, anyways, that are going, "Oh my," for lack of a better word, they're saying, "Holy cow!" Cow's not the word I'd use, but yeah. And here's the thing: every Thursday night, starting at 9 o'clock, the gatherings are back. Stacia is kind enough to co-host with me, so we are going to be doing these things quite often. But remember, it's for entertainment purposes, and
Absolutely.
we're not responsible if you get something that comes through and sticks to you like gum on your shoe. Is that your PK meter lighting up in the background? That only goes off when
No one else. Hi. Do you have a message for anybody? Like that. It's two or three. Looks sounds like males coming through through the noise gate. Help me, sis.
sis.
Keep saying it. Do you have a message for anybody else? Say fire.
Sounded like it.
Something now coming through now. Do you have a message for somebody in the chat room?
Or somebody anywhere at all.
Yes. It's me. Again, if anybody recognizes any of these, let me know.
Yeah, I'm monitoring chat too.
Good deal. Okay, because I'm trying to do it, but I can't see it from here with this
Right.
speaker. Okay. All right, we're going to try this again. Anybody else have anything to say? What's your name? Chris.
His name is Chris?
Either Chris or
Or he's
he's talking
addressing me?
to you, or yep. Do you have a message for Chris? Now it gets quiet.
Was the message for someone named Chris in the chat room? or someone named Chris that may be listening that's not in the chat room.
Right. What I'm going to do is just keep refreshing this and seeing what we can. That said Chris too. Did you hear that? What's your name, love? Do you have a message for somebody? Sound like it said mom. Did you hear that?
Stacia, does the Ovilus operate with gibberish as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It
So
does,
it's
but it's really, really clear, and it's constantly spinning.
so it's
So
kind of like a
it's
portal on
immediate.
steroids.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's
Absolutely.
immediate. Okay. Well, let's go back here and check in with the live chat. We have Ben Theft Blankenship that said, "Sis, my dad called me sis." Uh, Amanda writes, "Is his name Riley?"
Never know what it's going to be. I'm going to switch channels up.
And then we had Bobby who wrote that she thought that she heard the name Hannah.
Be sure and help us listen, because when all
Yeah.
these voices come through at different times, what I'm hearing, and you might hear something, more than me too. So
You have to remember, though, especially if you're going to be going into paranormal investigations, or if you are a paranormal investigation or investigator, who you're trying to contact are people. They may not have a physical form, but they're people. So I am of the opinion you always show respect.
always.
How would you feel, Stacia, if I walked into your house and started calling you names, trying to get you to respond to me?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to respond.
Right. And how
Or
would
I
you feel,
would
though?
probably, and say a little something extra.
That's exactly right. But how would you feel if I walked in and with respect tried to speak to you?
Hannah was my baby. Okay, I've got somebody coming through that said Hannah was her child. Does anybody happen to have a message for your mother that's here?
Wow.
You'll have to read the chats, because I can't do it. Let me turn this back down. It's all got static coming through. Okay. Are you there? Sound like a child to me. I'm from Paintsville.
Yeah.
I'm in Lexington right now.
Yeah. Hannah was a stillborn child to a lady named Bobby.
No, I'm sorry.
Yes, it did sound like a young girl.
It did. It really did. I'm going to switch through channels again.
I'm keeping up with the chats as much as I possibly can. So,
Okay.
and I'm sure Lloyd is too.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to read them for me over here when I'm trying to work with this speaker. And
Lloyd is as handy as a pocket on a shirt.
Yeah.
Here.
That is so true.
Thanks, buddy.
Hope I scored you some points, bro.
All right. Let's try this channel.
Just please, baby.
Puppy? Mommy? I can't. I'm a baby. What's your name? Sounds like a toddler.
Sounds like a very young child. Yeah.
It's so sad. What's your name? So sweet.
Can you make out what she's saying?
Yes.
I thought
Hannah. She said Hannah.
that's what I thought I heard a few minutes ago. That's when I.
Can you tell me what your name is, sweetheart? Very excited. Thank you for coming through to us. Can you tell me what your name is? I'm going to switch here.
Sure. Hey, that device over next to you, yeah, the one that's lit up there, is that an EKG meter? Is that what they're called?
This is now this is our SB 7.
That right there, yeah.
It's also a spirit box.
So when it's lit up,
We have
or
the
is it
portal
supposed to be
going.
lit up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's going off. You can sure see it.
So it's going off for a reason because there's spirits and.
Well, that sounds like she's playing.
It does, Marie. I agree. It sounds like a little child playing. What's so weird was when Chris and I were talking earlier, a lot of these spirits sounded very country, like
they did.
Somebody that we would know in our neck of the woods.
Yes, they sounded very, yeah.
It was really surprising.
And it didn't stop. It just kept coming, just like it is right now.
Did you hear that singing? It sounded like Shall We Gather at the River. That was weird. What is your name? Can you tell me?
Jessica posed the question, Stacia, and I think you're much better qualified to answer it than I am. Okay, her question was, if she says, and I quote, if I've never heard an answer before, if someone has a gift that can hear spirits and such, can it make more come through without physically being in the room with the equipment? I think what her question is can she lend the energy? That may be the question. Can she lend the energy?
It's all about love and connection. It's all about love and connection. If you don't have, if a person who isn't gifted, or I don't want to put it that way really, but if you don't have a good connection, then you're not going to get any answers or anything, because it's all about putting out that love, the connection, having that respect.
Yeah. Okay. So really the location has nothing to do with it. No. Like if I'm in Prestonsburg and you're in Lexington, or if I'm in Los Angeles and you're in Lexington, I can still have that connection. Even though I'm video chatting you or talking to you on the phone, it can still come through.
Right.
On your end. And it would, because you have the device that would enable them to.
Doesn't deal with it. Somebody else coming through to talk to us? Now, see, that sounds a little country to me also. Do you have a message for somebody?
If this knot keeps going like this, I'm going to be adding something extra to this jug.
What's your name? Is there somebody in the chat room that you want to talk to? Yep. I hear your voice. What's your name? Or who do you want to reach? I almost sound like Mary.
We heard from her before we ever went on the air.
That's twice we've heard somebody ask for Mary. See, that sounds very country to me.
Yeah.
That's the same. I think that's one of the same voices we got earlier. If you have a message, can you come through with it for us? Everybody's listening to you. Then all I do, what I'll do is I'll switch a channel and I try to push out the background noise.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we can get other voices coming through. Like sometimes you'll hear female, male. We just never know what's coming through.
If you guys are out there watching the people that are out there watching right now, do me a favor, grab you a piece of paper, something that you can jot down on. We would love to have you come on here next week. You can send us an email. She's back. That's the same little girl, isn't it?
Puppy. That makes
Puppy.
twice I've heard puppy.
Yeah.
Sounds so sweet.
She sounds cute as a button.
She said cat too. It's Marie.
People. What's your name? Can you tell me? Are you going to be shy? Definitely not.
She is not shy.
No.
It's okay.
Wait, that's what she's saying, Papa.
Papa?
That's what she's saying.
Okay. Are you saying Papa? I'd say yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Marie says she said cat too. Did you have a cat too?
I have to agree with Jessica. She's loving the attention.
Well, I have to say I really love her little voice.
Wait, ask her if Papa is with her.
Is Papa with you? Animals. Is Papa with you? Who asked that question?
Ernestine.
Ernestine wants to know if Papa's with you. Can you answer for her? Did you know Ernestine?
Papa's
I swear it's just like a child though to keep.
Papa's what my kids call my daddy. He passed last year.
Yeah. So you know Ernestine. That almost sounded like it said mammy or something. Please. Do you have to say a message for anybody else? Thank you for coming through to us. You know you're welcome to come through and talk to us anytime. My mama.
She don't know me. I'm friends with her mom.
She's my mama.
I asked my daddy to hold him.
We want to send you off with lots of love, okay? We love. Thank you for coming through. That was a sweet change from what I'm used to.
Yeah, you've been cussed and everything else under the sun.
Oh my.
You've been, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been threatened with them, and I wasn't even the one investigating. I was with a friend, and we were out investigating, of all things, an apartment, not here, but it was quite a ways from here. And he asked in the EVP session, Chris is here. Do you have anything that you want to say to him? And it said, "There he is. Kill him." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Hell, I didn't even do anything to this guy." So but yeah, apparently you just never know what you're going to get. You're absolutely right. But what I
Yeah.
was saying a few moments ago is you can email us with your information, and we would be happy to go ahead and set something up for you next Thursday. You can email themountainmysteries@gmail.com. Now, I told you before we went on, Stace, that I would, and I do want to do this, in the event that somebody needs advice or they need some kind of help, how can they contact you?
They can just easily hit us up on Facebook at 606 Paranormal, or they can hit me up personally, and it's under Stacia Underwood Gullett. And I'm there to help.
No, absolutely. Something else that I want to, how you saw on there that we would love to have your voice. Boom, there you go. We'd love to have your voice on the podcast. You're going to start hearing some of our listeners. They may be Patreon or patrons. They may not. I don't care about that. But what I'm hoping to get is your voice on here, like you will hear Statia's. And just saying that, hey, I'm Stacia Underwood Gullett with 606 Paranormal, listening to the Mountain Mysteries in Lexington, Kentucky. And you can do that on Spotify. You'll actually scroll down and you'll say, it says leave a message, and you can record it right off your phone. You don't need anything special. Just record it right off your phone. They'll send it to us and we use it. Now, when you do that, we are going to use it on the air. By doing so, you're agreeing to let me use that on the podcast. But you're going to be entry number 1 through whatever. And on Thanksgiving evening, the day before, I guess that would be Thanksgiving Eve, we are going to use a number generator online. And let's say that it's 1 through 500, and it picks out number 297. Well, whoever was number 297 is going to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And in second place, we're going to do a second run. And the second run will win some stuff from the Mountain Mysteries: T-shirts, ball caps, thermoses, hoodies, stuff like that. And we will be talking about that more. So you can do it on Spotify. Even if you listen on Apple, Spotify works on your iPhone. But you can go to Spotify and scroll down through there and leave us a voicemail. And you can just say, hey, I'm so and so from wherever, and we're listening to the Mountain Mysteries. And you're going to be registered to win. And that'll be given away the day before Thanksgiving this year. And the winner will be announced on the gatherings Thanksgiving evening or at 9 o'clock. So I think that that'll be pretty cool. And it's a way for us to give something back. And also, you can email us if you'd like to and just say, hey, I would really like to see if I can contact. And you don't have to tell me who. You can just say, I'd just like to see if I can contact a loved one or a friend or whatever it may be. And I'll pass that information along to Stacia. And if you're willing to, come on here, fine. And if not, that's okay too. Stacia, can you do that without them being on?
Absolutely. I can do that for you. Like I always, tell everybody, it's strictly confidential
Yeah.
forever.
So we are definitely looking forward to that. And I think that I can't, we've had a great response tonight, and our podcast numbers are going through the roof. Like I said, I initially said 36 countries. That was 4 days ago. Now we're in 38.
It's awesome.
This podcast. And, I'm having people come up to me and say, I feel like I know April, or I feel like I knew Trev, or I feel like I knew this person or that person. And I'm like, it's working,
Yep.
which was what we wanted. We wanted the memory of the people that we love and that we've lost kept alive. And there's no better way to do that
That's right.
than by talking about them. And listen, if you're ever afraid of getting on here and talking about them, you're afraid, oh, well, I'll cry.
We
Like
cry
I've
too.
not. Like I've not. It's okay. I think you've got you a new friend. Oh, that's somebody different.
You know who that sounds like?
Yeah, I do.
You have a message?
It sounds like sis. Does that not sound like April?
It's kind of a little bit shocking. Can you tell me what your name is? Miss you so much. There you go, Miss Sharon. Do you have a message for Chris? I love. We love you.
I love you, sis.
Chris. I love it when it comes through like that.
That's her.
I've heard love twice.
I love you, sis.
So soft. Sharon said, yes, it is. Thank you for coming through. I knew you would. You never let me down.
She is just as incredible now as she was then. You just had to know her. She was great. Absolutely right.
That was a surprise.
April will do what April wants to do. She always, I mean, in her own time. Nobody, I don't think anybody ever got her in a hurry before, and we're not going to now. So, but yeah, she
That's
came
true.
through along with several others. And, I hope that the people watching this now or that will watch it in a few days have gotten some hope out of this. You see, this life, it's a joke compared to what comes after. I do think that it gets us ready for it. But I think that what comes after, if we get it, if we learn what we're supposed to learn and we're able to walk on through that passage into the next life, I can't even begin to imagine how awesome that's going to be. See, God made us a set of promises, and He won't break them. Among those, He shall wipe away the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. In other words, we won't be parted again. The people that you've lost, the people that we've lost. It hurts right now. It hurts. But there is hope. And maybe that's one of the greatest gifts that God gave us when He gave us His Son, was that hope.
Yep.
It never weans as long as we walk out on faith. It's like a friend of mine named Ernest told me. It's great to have faith, but when you walk out on it, it's an experience like no other. Especially when God shows up and says, yeah, I've got you. And He does. My dear friend, I love you and Lloyd bunches.
I love you.
And thank you so much. And thanks to 606 Paranormal. By the way, a part of the prize pack for the not the Valentine's Day. Lord have mercy. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. It ain't funny. I feel like the Dollar General store.
That was a good one.
Yeah, part of the prize pack for the Thanksgiving giveaway. And we're giving it plenty of time because I want a lot of people. And we use one person per episode. But we are also going to include, thanks to Stacia, a 606 Paranormal t-shirt.
Sweatshirt too.
A sweatshirt too.
Maybe a sweatshirt about that time, huh?
Yeah, it would be a good idea probably around November, I'd say.
They're comfy.
They're awesome. And they look great. Look at them. Yeah.
We've got a few different kinds. So
your model today is Stacia.
Yes. I have my Mountain Mysteries t-shirts in there hanging up for.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. I really do. But I want to thank every one of you for tuning in tonight, watching, and know that we're back. The Mountain Mysteries gatherings will be each Thursday with Stacia Underwood Gullett of 606 Paranormal, and it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the episodes, of course, please subscribe to us. And your support in any and every way is greatly appreciated, more than you think. And of course, as you can see right there on the ticker on the bottom, you can send us that voice message on Spotify. You don't have to have any special equipment. Just hit record. It'll record it straight off your cell phone, and you can send it to us. And I kind of have this little knack for making things sound boom. So thank you. Ginger writes, this was awesome. Thank you. Please, Ginger, tell your friends about it. All of you guys, tell your friends about it. Follow the Mountain Mysteries on Facebook, please, and share it. Share the daylights out of it. That's how we're getting bigger and bigger. And like I said, 2 or 3 days ago, it's 36 countries. Now it's 38.
It's crazy.
We're in places I didn't even know existed. It's growing. That's the beauty of the web and the technology when it's used for the right purposes, I suppose. So, Stace, to you and Lloyd, I thank you very much. And I can't wait to talk to you again before Thursday, but definitely look forward to what we're going to get into next Thursday on the gatherings.
We'll be right here.
Thank you very much. And a lot of love and a lot of light. And God bless you.
Love you.
Bye. So that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. And like I said, I think that the greatest of God's gifts to us are probably hope. There's so much more than what we can see out there right now. So always be respectful and be mindful. And remember that kind word that you pay to somebody. That may be the only thing that gets them through the day. They download the podcast. They're all over the place. And you've got more than enough to binge on for a couple of days. At least a day or two anyway. So until next time, I'm Chris Sloan with love, light, and respect. Stay mysterious.